People passed by him without noticing, but the little boy noticed everything. The moment the boy walked into the park with his mother's hand in his, he saw the tall man in the expensive suit sitting alone on the bench, shoulders shaking, face buried in his hands. A CEO, a man everyone feared in his offices, now sitting like a broken child in the middle of a crowded place. The boy tugged at his mother's sleeve, but she didn't understand. So he stepped forward on his own tiny feet, stood right in front of the crying stranger, and said in the softest, most innocent voice, "Don't cry, mister, you can borrow my mom." Those 7 words made the man look up in shock. His name was Daniel Hart, a powerful, polished, disciplined CEO known everywhere for his coldness. But today, he couldn't hold himself together. He blinked rapidly, trying to hide the tears, but the boy's kindness hit him deeper than anything had in years. I'm fine," Daniel whispered, voice cracking. "Thank you, kid." The boy frowned. "Mom says nobody cries for no reason. So you're not fine." The mother rushed forward, embarrassed. "Sweetheart, don't bother the man." But Daniel shook his head and raised a trembling hand. "He's not bothering me. Not at all." He looked at the woman, and for the first time that day, someone looked at him with worry instead of expectation. "I'm sorry," he said quietly. "It's just been a hard day. A hard life, maybe." The woman sat beside him gently, her son climbing onto the other side of the bench, sandwiching Daniel between a stranger's motherly concern and a child's unfiltered kindness. It made him swallow painfully. For years he had been surrounded by people, investors, employees, admirers, but he had never felt more alone than he did recently. The boy's mother introduced herself as Amina, a single mom working 2 jobs to keep life steady for her son, Ryan. Their clothes were simple, their lives clearly not filled with luxury. Yet the warmth they carried was something money could never buy. "If talking helps," she said softly, "I'm here." And Daniel, who never opened up to anyone, found himself speaking. Slowly at first, then as if a dam had burst. He told them about his father's death that morning. The only person he had left. The man who'd raised him alone, who'd worked overtime jobs so Daniel could study, who had been the reason he fought so hard to build his company. And now, gone. Just like that. A quiet passing in a hospital room, while Daniel was in a meeting, because that's what CEOs do. They show up even when life breaks. Amina placed her hand over his. "You weren't late. You were his pride, Daniel." Parents never die angry at their children. They die loving them. For the first time since morning, Daniel breathed. Ryan leaned his little head on Daniel's arm and whispered, "Mom hugs help. Want one?" He opened his arms wide, tiny and sincere. A laugh escaped Daniel's throat, wet, shaky, but real. "I think I do." Ryan hugged him tightly, and Amina placed a hand on Daniel's shoulder. Something shifted in him that moment, a heaviness lifting, a loneliness breaking. This wasn't pity. It was connection. Pure human connection, something he hadn't let himself feel in years. From that day, Daniel kept returning to the park. Not for peace, but for them. For the boy who reminded him of innocence, and the woman who reminded him that strength didn't always roar, it often whispered gently. Weeks turned into months. Daniel began helping Ryan with his school assignments, attending his small school plays, even fixing things at their home. In return, Amina helped Daniel learn to cook, forced him to rest when work consumed him, and made him laugh at simple everyday chaos, a spilled jug of juice, Ryan's silly jokes, the burnt rotis. They'd all pretend weren't burnt. Daniel found something he never expected, a family he didn't know he needed. But life doesn't stay soft for long. Rumors spread. The media began showing pictures of the CEO in a small neighborhood, spending time with ordinary people. Investors questioned him. Board members told him to maintain his status. A partner threatened to pull out if Daniel lowered his image further. The pressure returned like a storm. One night, overwhelmed, Daniel showed up at their door, exhausted and defeated. "Maybe I don't belong in your world," he whispered brokenly. "Maybe I bring trouble." Amina stepped closer, her voice firm but gentle. "Daniel, families don't leave when the world gets loud. They hold tighter." Ryan grabbed Daniel's hand tightly. "You didn't leave us when Mom was sick last month. So we're not letting you leave now." Those 2 simple statements cut through every doubt. It was in that moment Daniel made the boldest decision of his life. He publicly announced he wasn't ashamed of spending time with real people, of loving simplicity over status, of choosing his heart over corporate expectations. Some investors pulled back, yes. But many more admired him for his courage. His company grew stronger. His employees respected him more. And his heart finally found a place that felt like home. On the anniversary of his father's death, Daniel held a small gathering at the park. Ryan stood on a bench and announced proudly, "This is my best friend, Daniel. He used to be sad, but now he has us. And we're keeping him forever." Everyone laughed. Everyone cried. Even Daniel, this time with joy. Later, as the sun set, Ryan tugged Daniel's sleeve and said again in that same innocent voice, "You can still borrow my mom whenever you want." Daniel looked at Amina, her soft smile warming the cool evening. Then he knelt in front of Ryan. "Buddy," he whispered, "I don't want to borrow her anymore. I want to be part of this family, for real." Amina's eyes widened, tears gathering. Ryan gasped, then jumped up and hugged Daniel's neck with all the love in his tiny body. "Yay, that means you're my dad now." And in that moment, the lonely CEO became the happiest man in the world. Not because of money, not because of success, but because a little boy in a park had offered him something priceless, a mother's love and a place to belong. As the video ends, viewers feel the warmth of that park sunset, the unity of that newfound family, and the message glowing softly in their hearts. Sometimes strangers become the greatest blessings of our lives. If this story touched you even a little, make sure you like the video and subscribe for more emotional stories that remind us how beautiful humanity can be.